Now in this video I'm going to analyze a very good shot from August the 10th, Nathaniel Redmond, California. So the area we're looking at are four areas. So I'll quickly take this moon map. We're looking at the area there, Sea of Serenity. We're looking at that smaller area, Vaporum, then Tranquility, and the smaller one further back is the Sea of Crisis. I'll just show you that now. The areas are very good. I'm very surprised they were that clear. So again, the area will be, I'll just enlarge it. And this is the first time I've actually seen the structure so clearly. And he's caught it very well. So the area we're looking at, oh, look at that. I didn't see that. It's a huge rod right there. We're looking at Serenity, especially that area around there. That's where I've got the bluer buildings in perfect formation. A Vaporum, where I had that big white tower, Tranquility, and the Sea of Crisis, or Chrysium. So let's go to that picture now. Now, one interesting point is the landing sites are very close to the cities that I've seen here on the last picture. And to actually hear the word moon cities is obviously quite crazy, even to actually think they exist. But then when you've got a higher zoom of it, then it's like, whoa, okay, things are really happening. So we're sort of getting close to these areas. So Apollo 11 and 17 were the closest. That was the first landing. 17 was the last one. I think that's the Crisis. That's Serenity. That's the Vapor, and that's Tranquility. The others were far away on the other side. Now I'll zoom into that picture now. So on these images from far away, it just looks like, okay, that's a normal moon surface. The area here, let's go through it step by step. Now I was told you have to tilt this to the right, so those pictures add up that you've seen on the map. That's the Sea of Serenity. Now I've gone into those blue domed buildings right there, that tower there. Next is the Sea of Vaporum. I've zoomed into that tall tower right there, that rounded perfect hole entrance, and what looks like a round dome there, and a perfect round sort of domed area there. Next, I've gone into that Sea of Tranquility right there, and there's a huge tower you'll see there. Many tubes actually are in this area there, and that's the Sea of Crisis. Now when I've zoomed in, I've tried the best I can. You'll see tubes there, patterns, and right up on one area which I think is there roughly, you'll see a beautiful, it looks like a bull's horns and a round dome and two straight lines coming out. It's as though it looks like some sort of a ray gun. That area there I've zoomed in on, it looks like it's floating. I still think it is floating, but then other people have said it looks more like a hangar entrance. I've zoomed into those two towers there, and I've zoomed into that area right there, and when I zoom in sideways, you'll see there's buildings that come out of the side of that crater step by step. I'll go through the photos now, but they're excellent photos. I still can't believe it was so good. So Nathaniel Redmond in California uses a Venture, I think, TX or TR7 telescope, 76mm, and he uses a Nikon camera, a DL300. So let's go to the pictures now. I'll keep the pictures on this format. I don't want to adjust them because the colors are fantastic. Now, when we zoomed into the area, this is the area of the Sea of Serenity, is that dark blue area. And the interesting point is, that's when I start to see that dome. So I'll quickly return to the picture and show you where that was. So just returning to this, the area I'm looking at is right there, that darker area in the Sea of Serenity. Then I look at that white tower and the structures on the cliff there. So I'm going right down to the dark blue areas in that photo, and I'm going back now. Now a jellyfish type of a building dome is there. That's the one that looks like it's a jellyfish floating up. And that's just on the outer side of that Sea of Tranquility there. And you see the tubes that seem to connect those. In the Sea of Tranquility, you'll see that tower coming up, and that white tower and landing area sort of there is Sea of Vaporum. So I'll go back there now. So there's that tower, and that's when I started to see the patterns there. And there was that white one that I mentioned. And that was a sideways view. And I'll actually flip that around to get it upright. There it is there. You'll see the tower coming up, that round entrance or hole, and that larger rounder area with a dome on it. That was in the Sea of Vaporum. So that was very interesting, and I'll try to zoom in. There was one structure that seemed to be coming out, but I'm trying not to focus too much on the smaller things. They're very hard to look at. So that one there showed that object coming up. That was the same as the last picture. That was in the Sea of Crisis further up. Now, when I rotate that, you'll start to see those tubes in the picture. So that's the view that I got, and you'll see the tubes coming around in there and these objects going around the edges. You'll just make out the tube. So that one was a very difficult one. Now, where we go back to the Sea of Serenity, you'll see the blue tubes in there. You'll see the white towers come up. You'll see that white tower there and objects there on the cliff. I think I could start to process these in the other format and just increase the image in photo gallery, because if I just touch the image processing, it'll bring those objects up very clearly. So if I use this format, I might be able to bring up the structures a little bit clearly. So especially that first time I saw that tower. And you'll see how that's performed. I'll just quickly touch auto adjust. So you'll see it just bring up the tower image there. Then I start to play around a little bit to bring up what I want to see. And that's when we start to see obviously what we want. There it is there. There's that beautiful white tower, which I've caught in other images as well. So it just provides me that little bit of extra. It's a hard image to process. Once you start to see what's in there, that's when fun begins, obviously. This is the object like tower in the Sea of Vaporum, and it just, oh, look at that. That really did wonders. Now, when I try to zoom in, that's where I get that special color, and you'll see a perfect round entrance there. You see that tower-like object come up, that white dome in the other area, and you can then start to get a little bit of color flowing into the picture. And these are totally alien structures. They don't look anything like we have on Earth. So I kept thinking this could be a NASA base or something like that, but there's no way we would build structures like that. It's just not possible. There's that object that seems to be coming out of an entrance. Again, it won't stick onto the small things. There's that tower again. So if I just apply auto adjust, there it is. It's really brought that up. And all the areas around it are similar. They've got these tubes flowing through all sorts of areas. Look at that. That is just, that's heaven. When you see something like that, it's like, whoa. Whoa, it's full of tubes. They've got beautiful colors, and there's that perfect entrance. It seems as though that's like a tower there. It isn't an accident. There's a perfect black round entrance there, as though things can fly in and out. Is it some sort of exit, a landing, a base? This is in the Sea of Crisis, and all I could zoom in was the tubes in there. It's a very hard photo because that was really far. And when I just sort of bring them up, you can see those objects right there. So it's a pretty good picture. This is the Sea of Crisis, or Crisium. This was the hardest to zoom into. It was pretty far in the picture. So this is the Sea of Serenity on the edge. And the trick is to bring up the structures there on the side. Very tricky. So I'll have to play around with the brightness. Here are those white towers and domes, blue tubes. There's an object that seems to come up. And there are these other objects on the edge of the crater. That's all I can do with that zoom. Now, here's a good picture. This is in the Sea of Serenity. When you just adjust it, things start to pop up. The last time I analysed it was probably a month ago. You just couldn't see anything. You saw dark blue type of tubes, and you thought, well, if that's all you have to work with, then it's not much to work with, obviously. Here we're starting to see something good. So we see the white dome, we see the tubes coming up, we see that beautiful tower or tube there. Then just playing around with the pixels, the color. It's very hard to zoom in, but I'm trying the best I can. So if I just play around again with the extremes of contrast and highlights, get some brightness into it, adjust the detail a fraction, you just see their wonderful blue tubes. They're well camouflaged because inside the crater obviously looks dark, so you won't be able to see it. The reason the white's there, I don't know. There's quite a few white domes and towers. Not sure how to answer that question. Now we go to the next one. Same thing. That's the Sea of Crisis or Crisium. Now, from far away, it looks, well, it's just a huge crater, but when you adjust it, and you'll see those tubes as well, deep inside, it actually looks like it's been carved out, and cities are actually in there because there's less chance of any, I'm not sure why, but there seems to be more cities in these deeper type of locations. They're very well camouflaged. I mean, very hard to see. I can't do much more. It just shows you the tube starting to come up that we saw in the Sea of Serenity. So I really can't zoom in there that well. Now this is that area, sort of, when we look at it, at the far east of the Sea of Tranquility. Now I'll just fiddle around with the rotation on it. That's better. And you'll see what looks like a dome shape. I think that's coming from that object there. It seems to float up. I don't think it's behind it. It seems to be coming from that spot right there, where that larger round shape is, where it seems to fit into. This is where color contrast and everything really helps. This is where we see that square, a building next to it. There it is there. It seems to be held up by something from inside. It seems to be floating. That's my impression. Can't do much else with that one. I can just try to sharpen it, but normally it only sharpens at a very small fraction. I wouldn't mind analysing it more, but I can't do any more on that one. It just shows it close I can get. You'll see one more structure there. You'll see the tubes, and these objects are just coming up like all over the place. Can't do much on that one. This is interesting. From far away it would look normal, but when you look inside, you've got again those towers that seem to come out. If I just bring up the exposure, I'll see those things coming out. That's all I can do on that one. There's that object. Looks like a jellyfish, a dome. And again, if I just catch the correct angle of it, it seems to be coming off the top of that rather than be connected to the objects behind it. I can't do any more on that one. There's that beautiful structure in the sea of vaporum. You see the tower coming up, that beautiful round entrance. The area next to which has the white dome on top of it. This one's hard to work with as well. You have to really get the colors right. Then you'll see things that spring up. It's just, it looks insect-like. It's as though insect-type aliens created all these beautiful structures that look like wasp nests and tubes and towers and things like that. It's very unnatural. It seems to flow with the actual landscape. They're beautiful structures. This gets interesting right here because you see this is on that area of, I think it's the outer area of vaporum as well. And you'll see the side wall has objects coming out. Now the trick is just to get that right highlight, and then things just jump out at you. Very hard, this one. They're very colourful objects. So it comes out of the cliff there, and you've got these side tubes and things like that. That's the closest I can do that one. You've got the white domes and things, and who lives there, who made these things, how long have they lived there, are these things empty, are the inhabitants still in there? It's just fantastic. Again, we got that picture there, which just if you get the highlights and contrast will bring up that tower there next to it. Not that easy. If I go down that way, it could do it better. The object to me looks as though it's coming off that object there. It just seems to be the right shape and everything else to be. It seems to be floating on top or either flying out or suspended. That's the only theory I can come up with that one. It just seems to be the same shape as the object underneath. This is trying to focus in on that structure behind it, and you'll see what looks like a large tower. They look glass-like, they look transparent. It's just very hard to comprehend right there. There's a dome and there's this structure down there. It looks crystal-like, glass-like. It's fantastic. Who built these? Who constructed these? Even more fantastic. Tubes and domes, everything around there. I'm just curious about their relationship with us and what their view is on what's happening on Earth and how they're actually related to our history, if at all. Do they keep out of our affairs at all if they're still there now? Could these structures be empty? It's very interesting that Apollo 11 landed near there, and also Apollo 17. Now we're getting something. This is getting very close to getting a good type picture. That's better. Now you'll see things. You see the rounded object that seems to come from that rounded area. You'll see a building there, tube leading down, and one larger or two domes in that area. We get in closer view of the object behind it. A dome goes up. It seems to be surrounded by a dome type of structure. If I can just get a little bit of contrast on that, it is a great picture. I'm surprised I even went that close to getting that. There it is there. Isn't that interesting? Right there. I'm not sure if my camera can process that picture. I'll just pause and try to get a picture, but you can see those tubes coming up, the round dome there. I'm not sure if it shows you any processes from the area around it, that thing there, and that beautiful object right there. It seems to be surrounded by that. It seems to have a translucent covering around it. That's my impression. I'm trying to zoom in, but it won't be easy. If you see what I mean, it just seems to be surrounded by something right there. That one seems to be a clear photo. I'll try to take a snapshot. I honestly didn't expect to get this close to that object. I'm just looking at it. It seems to be a white tower, but it's surrounded by, you just see the outer edges of a clear dome. Wow, that is fantastic. The Apollo astronauts must have seen fantastic things. I'm sure they could have seen this when they flew over, but on the other hand, these are very close zooms and they look very well camouflaged, and they're flying very high, so maybe they didn't see that close to the ground. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. That is fantastic. I'm trying to see if I can play around with the color on this one. It really deserves that little bit of extra. Just right. Now, if I can just get the temperature maybe. Temperature really, I can't do much ever on temperature. Yes, I can. On that one, it just gets that little bit of extra into it. So see the white one, the black area there, what looks like a clear area going around it. Now if I just go a little bit more on highlights, a little bit more on contrast, now you're starting to see what's down there. That is beautiful. I can't believe I've zoomed in that well on it. That's a great result. I'll see if I can do some of the shadows. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. This time it doesn't really do much. That is an excellent zoom on that one. Here's that area again. That object there, that's tower next to it. I seem to be getting that tower again in clear focus right up there. Maybe this might be a touch clearer, but I think I've zoomed in as clear as I can on the other one. Fantastic pictures. I couldn't help but analyze this one. It's too good. It's just fantastic. Now this is deep inside, I think this was the Sea of Tranquility, and you see those what look like little round shapes. From far away looks normal, but then you see all the very intricate tubes and things like that. So these objects, I'm not sure what they represent, the white things. But you'll see all those intricate tubes and processes there. I'll skip that one. Again, we have that image there as well. I'll play a little bit with the contrast and the highlights. And you'll just see something's going on, especially with that object there. It seems to come up like a tower, surrounded by those tubes around it. And you see these objects here on the hill. Actually, that's a good one. That's a big tower right there. Smaller objects around it. I didn't see that. I'm just thinking, could I possibly get into that a bit more? That little square object, tower going up. That's as much as I can do on that one. This is Sea of Crisis or Chrysium, and I'm just trying to get some color out of it and show those intricate tubes and similar processes in there. That's it. I think I've done it just right. That is excellent. Look at that. You see the individual tubes in there. And the whole thing looks like an insect alien type of construction. It's just tubes and domes, and it's very well camouflaged. It's I didn't expect ever to see these things. Here we go again. I think I've pressed the order on that one. There are those bizarre ones that come out. They're like towers coming out. That's all I can say about them. They just look a little bit too far beyond what I've seen normally in the other ones. That's very far away, but you can just work out that little tube right there in the dome. So if I can just get that up, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's it. You'll see that white tube going across. It seems to be propped up by something there. The color just helps in this one. We'll take it a little bit closer. There's the object there. Coming out of the side of the cliff, you'll see those patterns there, the lines, the domes. I can't get any closer. Here we go. That little bit of extra just brought the color up. That's good. That's as close as I can get there. If you look at it from far away, you'll see the structure and all the tubes going around. It's just so intricate. Who travels in the tubes? What food do they eat? How do they survive? What sort of energy source? Have they developed UFOs? The rumor is in World War II the Foo Fighters were actually from the moon. They came to watch what was happening on Earth. You see the dome there. It's just beyond what you'd expect an alien civilization would look like. It's very intricate. It blends in with the countryside rather than cuts into it. There are those blue tubes. You'll see them there. One white dome, the blue tubes lead out. That structure coming out of that sort of hole-shaped object there. The other structures there. They're brilliant things to look at. Look at that. Just down there, you can see all the right angles, all the tubes, everything. It's fantastic. I'll try to play around with this one a bit. That's it. That brought it up just nice. I'll jump in with the highlights. And you'll see the greens, the beautiful colours in there. They're rich, colourful, highly camouflaged objects. Look at that down there. That is fantastic. Just look at that. The lines, the right angles, the towers going up, everything. Wow. This is the first time I've used this. I haven't downloaded before and used the edit on it. Look at that. That is brilliant. Totally brilliant. You see that big white one there especially, and then the other intricate ones going around. Beautiful things. This is very far in the background, so they're tubes obviously. I don't know what they are, what they hold, but I'm just trying to get that little bit extra into it. There's a tower going up. Very intricate patterns in there, the blue tubes, the white domes. Some are light blue, some are dark blue. Again, I'm just seeing the towers and everything. I can't get closer in. This I used the camera on my phone to try to zoom in on the actual object. So it does bring it up well, but obviously when you go in and edit the pictures, then obviously the objects come up easier. So that's how tricky it is to analyze. It's not as easy as it should be. Here we're in the Sea of Tranquility, and I'm trying to get into those deep structures with tubes and everything like that. It's not easy. You have to just get the right color, and then you'll see the things pop up at you. There it is. All intricate tubes. The colors look camouflaged very well. There's a large object right there. Look at it. One up there as well. That's great. Especially that object right there. Here we go again. And if you zoom in just nice, you'll see all those beautiful shapes. And I'll just get a little bit of highlight coming up. So we'll see the area there. We then go another shot. We adjust the auto. We're trying to get into that white dome that's got the brown tubes underneath. Now if I can just get up a little bit more detail, I could get into that clear dome structure. I don't think I'll be able to do it as the clearest I had. Yeah, that was the clearest zoom I had. So you'll see that object looks like a jellyfish shape. It seems to be connected to that round area down there. You'll see the tower there and that object up on there. Can't do any closer. Again, this is the Sea of Serenity, and you'll see the towers. This has brought up something a bit clearer. I might even use sharpen color to a certain extent to bring it up. There's the tower. There's the white tubes coming around. There's the white one there. There's one white tower. I didn't see that before. There's that object that we caught before coming up like a white tower. And here's a big white one, tube sticking out. If I can just get a bit of a clearer picture, I can't. It's as clear as I can do on that, but obviously you see what's happening there. There's that object there, the tower. Got two little windows there. They look like windows. I can just brighten that up a bit and bring up the color. We've seen this before, but I'm trying to really zoom into that tower there, the tall one, and one piece goes sideways. Very well camouflaged. You got the turquoise blue color there. I'll have to rotate the picture. That's it there. Auto adjust. That's bringing up again what we want to see. There seems to be a large tower coming through that rounded object there, and then you've got the individual side towers. That's it. That's brought up that shape good. Brightness. You see the perfect tubes going over. You'll see the right angles, everything. It looks spectacular. We're looking at something there. I don't know where it is on the map. Oh, that's that area around it. So we just bring it up right. That's what I'm trying to get into, that area right there. That's the area high up on the cliff. Underneath you got the dark turquoise blue tubes and white towers. It looks beautiful. So it was worth the effort. This really shows you what's down there. It's lovely. You got the buildings there, color coded blue and white. One tower comes out of there. one white one there. And obviously the other things further up are then color coded to match the landscape. That big tower goes up, it's brown, got the white top on it. There's round domes there, and then that blue area coming down. Look at that. That is a spectacular shot. Now I might do a little bit on the color. That shows you the white and the blue. That shows you the crisscross angles. It just brings it up. It just brings up all that structure down there. And the trick is to zoom in that touch more. And you're just trying to milk every pixel out. Look at that. Beautiful white tower. You've got a structure going sideways. You've got that big white tower, which had the darker openings in it, or windows or whatever. That's it. That's brought it up. Now if I adjust the detail, I might get a little bit into there. I'm scared to go too far. It's an art form. You have to fiddle around with the colours, the contrast. It's a little bit bright down the bottom, but the top needs lightening up. You've got the white dome there. I didn't see that before, that white one. Wow, these are great images. Again, just brings it up. Fiddle around a little bit with the sharpened image. There, there, contrast. Wow, that really again brings it up. I like looking at that area down there. There, you got that white area there, and that's come up fairly good. These are those objects coming out again. They look very innocent, but when you zoom in, you just realise it can't be accidental. These are some sort of towers. They look like wasp nests. They don't look anything we would build on Earth. So here's that strange thing that I've seen before. It looks like it's floating. It's got two white areas on it. So it could be like a huge hangar entrance. See what I mean? It just looks like it's floating above the surface, but it looks like that area there is just the cliff or a side of that object. But it always seems to be in the same position. So obviously right there, that's interesting. Here we've got one more view, obviously to the east of Sea of Tranquility. We've got the dome up there, the jellyfish shape, the structure there. By fiddling around with these, I'm trying to zoom into that dome up there, and it's still the same. I can't get any closer than the first time. You'll see the two structures in there, and just the faint outline of that dome around. Here you'll see more of these vertical structures going up everywhere, like glass trees. They just pop up. Look at it. What those things are, I don't know. We've seen this area before. This brings up the fantastic colors when I do this. It's a perfect entrance in there. And it looks like a landing spot there. It's a round dish and a dome. Then that tube leads to what's in there, and then that area goes up. These look great. These are those white objects that seem to be innocent, but the more you zoom in, the more you realize they're coming out at all angles, especially that one coming out there. It's tubular, it's square, it's all sorts of designs. If I can just sharpen it a fraction, could help, but I think we've hit the closest we can on this one. I haven't used this. I've looked at the pictures, I've sort of said wow, but now I'm looking at that beautiful white one there. It's fantastic. Here's a video again. It's not as clear as I hoped, that one. The zoomed in work as well. I'm just trying to see how well a zoom worked. It works all right. So these are the purple areas, the tubes there. I just put the volume down. They're beautiful images. Zooming in helps, especially that white area there and the tubes going around it, but I can't get any closer. The image quality here is not that good, so I'll just go through it. Not as clear as the picture. There's that object that comes out of the towers. There's that object as well, and that tower goes up. There's a dome on top of it. That tube leads to that round one there. And that seems like I've never zoomed in on that, but it's like a white tower there, or dome, and these tubes around it. Not sure what it could represent. I don't know if this is going to increase it a bit. That's close I can get that. So that's on the outer, that's in the vaporum, sea of vaporum. Not much there except those towers coming up there, obviously. Don't think I can do much of that. So you got the towers down the bottom. You got that area there, especially that one there, covered by that transparent or translucent dome. We've seen this before. Could work if I just bring it up a bit. We could see something else, but it's still there. You've got the white one with the black spot, the white tall one, and then a dome going around it. It's the first time I've ever seen the outside of what looks like a dome around a building. So that's why I've homed in on that one. This is interesting because if I just bring it up, you'll see that white thing there. You'll see the crisscross tubes in there, but it's too dark on the outer edge. This might bring up the tubes a little bit better in the colors. Some towers are coming up here. It just looks like a huge plant coming up. And there's quite a few there. I missed that. I could get into that and just pick them up somehow. See them how they come up? They're just coming up that way, and that one's going sideways. This one could be worth playing for the detail. It is a good image. It's a good image. You see them? They're pink, they're purple, they're rising up like trees but coming from a central spot. I can't understand how that can happen. You see all the individual tubes around it. That's purple, green, all sorts of fantastic colours. What are they composed of? I don't know, but that one brought them up well. This is that view of that side object coming out of the mountain with all the colourful tubes and things like that. White domes and this is coming up good. Heaps and heaps of tubes. There it is. That's better. Look at it. That is a good image. You got the rounded areas, the areas around it. That is an excellent image. This looks like a lot of detail in this one. And if I just get the right color, you'll see how complex that area looks. Now if I just sharpen the detail a fraction, you'll see that white area there, there's structures around it, that perfect black entrance there. It looks like a dome there, then some tubes or buildings and that tower that leads up. Beautiful colours, purple, greens, blues. The colours never stop. we've tried again this before, we couldn't. You'll see the tubes inside and all the shapes. I'll just try to sharpen it. That's the Crisium, Sea of Crisium, and you'll see beautiful, beautiful structures in there. They don't jump up at you straight away, but when you zoom in, you'll see all the tubes there. We've gone through the best, so I'm just trying to quickly try to bring up any other images, but they're all the same. The picture quality was good, so that allowed me to get in closer. This was the 10th of August, so I was very surprised that this one just did it just right. I asked Nathaniel why. He said, well, it's just luck, experience, and all the above. Again, he used only a 76mm telescope and a Nikon, a DL300 camera, which it just gets the image just right. Same as I zoom in just right. That's how sometimes he can just get that image as clear. There's no cloud cover or disturbances there. Wow. Now when we go in this one, this is where I'm seeing a lot more of these straight lines popping up. Now if we adjust the detail on that one, look at that. Could be clearer. See that perfect white rod coming out of there. Okay, it's starting to get boring now. We've seen all these images, and I don't want to play more of the histogram. This one's interesting. It seems to float. There's two white objects on it, and it just seems to float. So the other view is it could be like a big hangar entrance on the side where things actually fly in there or come out of. I don't know what to make out of it. It always seems from the same spot. There it is. There it is there. I can't do much more with it. It's pretty blurred. Again, we've seen this before. Sea of Crisium. All the tubes in there and the colours pop up. There's the objects there again. That's a clear one. You'll see all the straight lines coming out. That blue dome, the white one, the thing coming up. And one other shot of that. Maybe one shot will show you something a bit clearer, but so far it hasn't. So they're always the same sort of things. I'm looking for that extra magic shot. This could be it. See that white shape? Like an opening. That blue tube goes in there. That tower goes up there. The entrance is there as well. Oh, here's that object on the hill. That's right on the edge. You see what looks like ray guns. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what they look like. I'll just bring this into view now. It is right on the edge, so it seems to be the correct place if there is a defense system. Look at that. Look at those, what looks like a bull's horns going across. You'll see that rounded object and two things sticking out. I'm not sure if that can rotate, but if you want a defense system, you would have it on the hill. So that's my interpretation of what that could be. Then you'll see that white thing come up and all sorts of shapes there, and that horn shape going across. I'm not sure what to make out of that one, but that's what it looks like to me. Look at it. Look at that shape. Something's happening there. I don't think it's an accident. It is that shape. There's that white structure there that tube leads into it. And this looks rounded as though it can rotate. And then these two things coming out of it looks like a device. It's a good picture. Again, we're looking at the structures inside. There's that object there. Too many things in there. There's too many shapes. Round things, spheres, tubes. Another view on that one. Again, there's a lot of tubes and shapes in there. It's just too hard to analyze what's happening. They're all over the place. I'm starting to get tired of it now. I've seen it. I've sort of analyzed as much as I can. The rest could be an accident. If anything pops up now, it's virtually an accident only. There it is. The blues, the browns, the things on top. It's wonderful. There's an object up there, brown as well. That's bringing up that object there. Here, I don't know what to make out of it. It's got two white things on top and it just seems to float there. More good shapes. Here we see more intricate shapes, the tubes, the rounded areas, the domes, the crisscross angles. That's brought it up good. Look at that. That is good. I might do a little bit of clearing up on that one. That's a good one. I haven't brought that up before. Maybe a little bit of work with brightness. Yes. It's full of tubes. Tubular connections. Okay, this is the area where that thing comes out the side cliff there. There's that a jellyfish shape there, and all the colors I might bring out by going highlight contrast. Here we've got all those shapes. Beautiful shapes. This is something I've zoomed in on. I don't know what it is, but obviously it's something there. There's a structure. Now it requires playing around with all these things to get it up. That's it. I got it up. It's one of these tubular building type structures. There it is there. I could sharpen it up a bit. That's a good one. They're all crazy shapes. Not one shape will be the same as any other shape. Ever. Not much to do with that one. Here we've got the blue areas, the whites. I can't get in closer. It's really frustrating, but I'd like to see a little bit more. It's always that little bit more you want. When really got the best image anyone can process in the world at the moment using amateur ways. Wow, look at that. Again, we're looking in the Sea of Serenity there. Could the Apollo astronauts have seen this when they flew over? Probably. Okay, it looks like a brain there. You see that shape? Always look out and think of a brain. They're just these white towers and they've got beautiful shapes coming out of them. They're beautiful. Look at that. If I can only get closer to actually looking at in that tower there. Again, this was taken from Earth with a 76mm telescope, so I'm just surprised we can even see this. There it is. Beautiful. Okay, I'll just have a quick look at how much we've got to go. I might just skip them. They're all starting to look the same. But any extra, it could always strike that one image that shows you that little bit extra, and here it does. Just as I said that, I'm getting that image of that tower there, and that tower, and the one there, all three of them that I wanted before. There it is. Very clear. I'll just pause and see how much more we've got. It's a shame to stop. There's just so much happening in here. I keep trying to focus in on this area and get the ultimate picture. And I think we've hit enough there. We're just always getting into the blue areas, the white domes, everything. Beautiful shapes. Excellent. Excellent. And that's it.